Good afternoon, everyone. Today is May 21st, 2025, and we're talking about the real reason why stocks are selling hard today. And we're not just talking about the bond auction, although that is the obvious answer there. But first, don't forget to give the video a thumbs up if you like the content. Helps out the channel a lot. And also consider coming to carnivoretrades.com for swing trading alerts, analysis, and live day trading if you like catching moves on the downside like this. And you guys in the comments, some of you guys were making fun of me last couple of days, and I said there's a reason why today, specifically today, you should be prepared for some volatility, and we've got it. And market here with a pretty good slide, down 1.5%. It shouldn't come as a surprise. We've had a month of upside here with zero downside action to speak of whatsoever. So, it was a due time for a good, pretty much like, a good solid red day. It wasn't an open to close sell day. Well, there's a reason why we talked about today. And we had the bond auction this morning. It was very interesting because there was a dispersion trade out there, meaning they're selling volatility very hard. If you look at the breadth here, and I can't show you what it looked like this morning, but it was like there was like 50 of them. We are over 90% down day today, by the way. But it was like 50 advancers, 60 advancers, and it was pretty much Google, Netflix, and what was the other one? Meta that was up. That's it. And that was enough to keep the market, rallying essentially. Like the Qs are actually the Qs actually threatened a new high of this range. I think they almost made one. I think I actually did make a new high here. But we sold off pretty hard. So somebody, I thought, well, okay, we got a bond auction at 1 o'clock. It's going to be a big deal. And I thought, okay, maybe somebody knows it's going to come out good and they're just kind of front running it. They're selling volatility. But that was not the case. And the VIX broke 20, which is a level that they need to hold. And it's breaking that. And it's starting to accept right now, although it is, to be fair, coming back in by the end of the day. So we are getting some stabilization. And, we also said, like, look, we were looking for volatility here, but we're not looking for a meltdown or anything. But nonetheless, it is a pretty good sell. Now, why is it today? You guys got to understand there's a reason why I say all this stuff. I don't just make this stuff up. I know it's hard to believe, but when I said 5,900 is a line in the sand, and if we break that, you're not going to want to buy the dip right away. Again, but Aaron, the market's being supported. Every dip gets bought. Every dip gets bought. There's a reason why those dips are getting bought. That reason is gone. Okay, so we have a fresh VIX cycle here. All right, so we have a new contract roll. Dealers are not going to save the market. That's why we got bearish in February 19th to February 20th, right here. All right, dealers are not going to save the market on the way down, and they did not. And they're not doing that right now. Although we are getting a good bounce, to be fair. And if we look at ES, by the way, big rising wedge here that just broke bear. But if we look at, we put our old normal trend lines on, you're going to see we're bouncing right at 58.50, which is where it should bounce. So you're kind of basically hitting this pivot high. That's 58.37. I've got it in at 58.52. Okay, pretty close. I think the low of the day was 47. Yeah, 47.75. So it's holding that area, but nonetheless, it was a pretty good sell. So again, you got to know this stuff. I don't just say, well, we're overbought, so we're going to sell. Like I don't do that. You guys know that. I've been bullish this whole way up. There's a reason why I said, like, look out for volatility to open up right here. And it is now doing that. So right now, I think, maybe the Qs, we got about 15 minutes left. It's possible we could see, if we really bounce, we could see 515, but dealers are hedged to the downside against that right now. And if we look at SPY, by the way, this tool has been has been ridiculously powerful, our new dashboard here. But you can see here, they're hedged up they haven't really hedged much on SPX, but on SPY and QQQ they have. And that's why you got to look at both, because I see all these channels out there, they just lock in on the SPX GEX volume, and that's all they care about. But when it's really much more important than that, especially our net dealer hedging and our dealer exposure tools. But if you look at SPY here, you can see, 585, that's, hedged pretty negatively here. So that's probably about it on this bounce for right now. I would think tomorrow we can at least see, 5,800, and all that is a retest of the gap window. And then you got the 200 and the 100 right below it, and the 20 MA in this area. Now, the onus is on the bears right now to do damage, and they've got to damage this. They've got a window here. I'm just going to say, now we're going into Memorial Day too. So we got a shortened week next week, but I'm going to say they got 2 weeks. We'll give them 2 weeks here, and they've got 2 weeks to really damage this. If organic buyers show up, though, then they're in trouble, and we're going to go higher here. But right now, I would say, it's possible we can see a pullback here unless vol sellers, really get the VIX under control. It's possible it happens. Maybe this is a one-day wonder, but they're going to have to get the VIX below 20, and if they can do that, then we'll say we can probably just digest here and let the 20 MA catch up to price, and then we can go higher, and we can just kind of fill this range out here. But again, looking at the daily chart here, kind of a little ugly outside candle there, especially with the Qs making a new high, and then to kind of roll over like that. So we'll see. Maybe they pop it up to 515 here by the end of it. It's only right there. SMH getting a little bounce here towards the end of the day. But nonetheless, that doesn't change the fact that, harnessing this power and this knowledge is really invaluable here, because a lot of people tried to buy that first dip and they got rocked. So anyway, let's take a look here at the Spiders daily. So yeah, we talked about that, 575 just below with those moving averages there. If it really starts getting going on the downside, we could see 5,600, but it's going to require they got to damage this thing like now. But that would be your kind of level there. I not really in that camp, but we'll see. It's possible. IWM down 2.5, so outside candle. So look at that island there, and pretty nasty. You got 200 as support, first support down. That could get hit tomorrow. DIA 415. SMH here down 1.25. This is actually holding up. This is still holding range. So this is your positive for bulls here, right? You still have a nice tight flag pattern on the SMH, and we know that the semis are an important leading indicator, and if this just holds up, it's fine. So that's going to be positive, imperative for bulls to keep going. IGV again, nice outside move again. Pierce, the third hit of the trend line is usually a pierce, so we expect a pullback here. But I'm thinking higher lows are coming on this. So to make no mistake, I'm not bearish here, but I gave you guys the opportunity as early last week, and I said start hedging here or taking gains, and so far that was the right call. But transports again, outside move down, still has an inside bar, but definitely weaker now. We'll see if this old trend line helps out, and we'll see if that holds. If it can hold the green bar low, it's fine. 30-year. It was the story of the day. There's Bitcoin making a new all-time high. Not following through, though. But the 2-year green and, the 10s and 30s were the story. This is a new 52-week high. It's almost at new multi-year highs. It doesn't have much farther to go. So 0.18 or whatever it is here. It's not that far. I mean, by traditional standards, that's a long way, but the 30-year moves like it's a stock now. So it could easily just get there tomorrow. My guess is it probably wants to make a new high and at least pierce it. So this is not a bear pattern here in any way, shape, or form. And that is why the market is spooked. You have a macro event here when the market is weak. We've had weak macro for weeks. The reason why the dip was getting bought is because you had put decay and you had gamma squeezing. Okay, once that stuff rolls off, you got to be careful. XHB down almost 3%, so good sell on volume there. VNQ down as well, respecting rates, very sensitive. XLF down, so back below our trend line there. So good sell, and again, island and nice outside reversal. KRE, island, outside reversal. KBE, island, outside reversal. Broker dealers with a good sell today too, but just kind of through double top and pulling back now. Oil is all over the map, down 57 cents, but it did pop on more war drum news in the overnight. Just to see if it can stay firm here and it can build a base and push towards 66. Yeah, we're coming into the driving season too, so we'll see. I think it's getting ready, but definitely a lot of volatility there. XLE was down even with oil up earlier, and pretty good sell there. So outside move. That has plenty of room for higher lows though. So does XOP and OIH, but OIH definitely the weaker one. XOP I think could be a dip buy at some point though. island on that also too. So just be aware. Gas here down to 2%. That's still holding trend. Dollar index getting hammered again. It did come off the lows, and you had dollar yen off the lows as well, but not by much. This is your other problem. Japanese yields. And so like this is where things get risky, right? So time is so important. It's so important. It matters so much more than price. That's why everybody's convinced and telling me that we can't sell. We can, just it's a matter of conditions. So now all this stuff matters. And earlier today, I mean, that was a pretty nasty bull trap here. That reclaim play. As soon as we lost, what level, guys? What level did we lose? 5,900. That's when the floodgates opened, right? So just beware. I don't make this stuff up for no reason. Gold's continuing to rally. We noticed that yesterday. And yeah, again, somebody probably knew the auction was going to suck. Silver breaking out here at 1.6, 1 2/3. I'd like to see that push up one more time, lower high, rejection, higher low, and then from there, I think it has a chance to break out. Platinum's already breaking out. So very nice move there. Beautiful. And then we got palladium, 1040. I think it hit 1050 today, didn't it? Yeah, it got there. So we've been talking about this target for like a month. There it is. 1075 is your next stop. And then copper today was up, but not by a ton. And then, yeah, lastly, Bitcoin making a new high, but no follow through. So it's nothing wrong, nothing really wrong. It just, hasn't taken the high out really. I mean, it might be a new closing high. We'll see. That might be if it closed right here, it would be a new all-time closing high. But right now, no follow through off the push, but it's still fine. We've been talking about that. Don't fight that. Trend is up there. Yeah, they're gonna spend. They got the big beautiful bill coming out. Like all these assets here. It's just gonna push yields higher, and I think that's what the market's telling us it's worried about right now, and that's why gold's going up. That's why Bitcoin's going up. That's why silver. It's why platinum's breaking out. Platinum hasn't done shit in months, and it's breaking out now, right? This is all, nothing stops the train, right? So here we are. Nice sell today. Congrats if you made money off it. And yeah, if you like making money, come find me on carnivoretrades.com because we're gonna make a lot of that. But anyways, guys, I'll wrap it up here again. You guys take care. Don't forget to come find me on carnivoretrades.com. I'll see you guys all tomorrow.